Spacemen, I've been meaning to talk to you about your parenting. It's not good. Today on the ManSpace. Welcome to the ManSpace podcast. We're your hosts, Doctors Matt Brown and Rob Porter, and clinical therapist Mike Porter. Welcome, Spacemen. Mike has a few thoughts on how poorly you've been parenting.
You're doing it wrong.
If
everyone would just parent the way I would.
Seriously. Hey, you know what?
Why haven't
Since
I
this is,
published a book?
I mean, everyone can now. Stuart decided he wanted to watch Star Wars.
Has he not seen it?
No, he has. I showed him all. My kids hated Star Wars when they were little. And I was like, you guys, I grew up on these movies.
Yeah.
I might end up ranting for a minute here.
Go for it.
Because, everybody kind of hates 7, 8, and 9.
They're wrong, but okay.
I really enjoyed them. I thought they were fun.
Me too.
And I also didn't feel like, guys, Star Wars has always changed their own rules whenever they wanted to. Why do you have an issue with it now?
Yeah.
So Stuart wanted to watch them. We start at number 1, which the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I don't really have that. Jar Jar's annoying. But actually, the whole movie is pretty much a waste. Yeah. It's mostly about pod racing.
Yeah, you don't need number 1.
No, it's stupid.
You didn't do the machete order?
No. I mean, he's seen them.
Yeah, I just watched the machete order because I hate number 1.
So
I don't
clarify something because I didn't grow up on it, and I am not a fan.
Okay.
Which ones are 7, 8, and 9?
7 and 9 are the newest ones that just came out.
Okay,
in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
because
it's
4, 5, and 6 were the original.
Were the original 3.
Then 1. Okay, yeah.
So I used to, and I still do, but I hated number 2 because the dude, George Lucas, can't write. He has a good story, but his script is horrible.
I also wish he would do something about his neck and beard situation.
This situation here.
Anyway, he's been successful.
He's also a horrible director. So he has Natalie Portman, who later wins an Oscar, but in this movie, it's did you read this line right before he said action? Every line she delivers in the same flat tone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the dude that she's paired with in number 2, the Anakin Skywalker. Dude, he is so brutal. It hurts.
Which I've heard he's actually not bad.
Probably
I've never seen him in any other movie because I think he's so bad in these I refuse.
Yeah, because realizing that Natalie Portman, everyone's bad in these movies, but everyone's like, it's cool, it's Star Wars. So I talked to kids who are younger meaning maybe late millennials, and early
age.
Early Gen Z.
Yeah.
That they're like, no, I loved 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, well, just so you know, I watched 4, 5, and 6 first. So that when 1, 2, and 3 came out, I was like, well, they're changing rules. What the crap is this midichlorian count?
Mm-hmm.
He's just making stuff up now. And also I was like, you guys liked those because you were little when you saw them. Because these are really bad movies. They are laughably bad.
Yeah, episode 3.
I haven't seen that. We've watched 1 and 2 so far.
Okay.
I haven't seen 3 in a long time. I do remember thinking that was my favorite.
It's still bad.
It was my favorite of the 3.
But it is of the 3. It's without question.
So you're going
of the 3.
We're going 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Then Solo, then Rogue One, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm skipping all the extra side stories, the Clone Wars, and just the movies. That's just too much. And also, whenever people get really into it, I'm like, can you just calm down? It's a movie for entertainment, right? When people are like, because one client, or not client, it was a kid that I was working with at a church thing, but he was explaining to me that this thing was canon, but they moved it over into legend. And I was like, okay, it's all story, cares? Man. Don't declare canon. Who gives a crap? In the end, it's just whatever.
The canon thing, and again, it tends to be Allie and Cole's age. and younger tend to get really wrapped up in canon.
Yeah, it cracks me up.
And I think no, it's
like
just
they discovered these scrolls in a mountain somewhere.
Right. I'm like, you do realize, like, even then, I think there's two movies. There's the script, that's one movie.
Yeah.
And then there's what the director actually does. And unless he happened to write the script, then that's where the second movie comes in. Because I think, no, it's his interpretation.
There's also sometimes what the editor does.
Yeah, or the
found out
studio.
through some movies.
Yeah.
But this, I'd love to hear a spaceman who loves Star Wars and is deep in the canon and the mythology and the legend. Reach out to us and tell me you want to come on the show and argue with me.
If that's the case, I'm going to have to watch apparently all 11 movies before he comes and we.
Well, here's the thing. Even watching these movies, I'm like, okay, look, these are bad movies, bad writing, seriously stupid. Like this part where Queen Amidala rolls down the hill and she's laying there and she's moaning. Like Marianne loves to make fun of this part because she's like, and the stormtrooper or whatever comes up and he's like, "My lady, are you okay?" And she's like, "Uh-huh." And then she gets up and Stuart made us go back and rewind it and see it again because like, dude, look at her run. It's like clearly on a green screen. And she's like, it's all like laughable science fiction, but because it was Star Wars, I think we all gave it a pass. But I can look at these like, hey, these are enjoyable. Like I like all of them, start to finish.
Yeah.
Knowing these are stupid, bad movies. And even number 2 with the terrible line of like, I hate sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Not like you're soft and smooth. And I thought, seriously.
Yes.
And
that's
I think
the big romantic line in the whole movie, dude.
George Lucas
what wins
is like,
her over.
That's what George Lucas is like, worked on my wife. But
Dude,
it's seriously
so funny because his whole thing, and everybody points to him being like the example of using Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces, like the universal story. Like they all point to him as using it with great success. And I'm like, when you read Joseph Campbell's book, it is like way more detailed and elaborate and beautiful than what you're saying.
Well, that's what I think is funny is like the story of Star Wars is cool. Like there's some things where it's like, oh, that's cool the way he does this political stuff. And
yeah,
he pulls these things over here. And sometimes he makes the Jedi sound just like priests, which actually so does Stephen King in The Stand, or not The Stand, the Dark Tower series. The gunslingers almost sound like priests.
Are almost like priests.
But it's just such a funny, like, yeah, the story's good.
Yeah.
But his writing is so bad it hurts. Like,
so here's the funniest part, right? Like, at least to me, it's this hilarious. When it came out, and I have my own theories on this. When it came out, he had written these scripts, and he went to Spielberg, right? They're longtime friends, collaborators, right?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, whatever.
Yeah.
Said, hey, will you direct these? And Spielberg turned him down, and he went to
terrible
Kasdan, who directed, I think, Return of the Jedi, and said, hey, will you direct these? And he was like, no. And both of them basically said, look, man, like, you have a very clear vision of what you like. You need to direct these. And I think, or did you just realize, how do we tell him this is bad?
That's what I literally, during multiple points, turned to my wife and said, I think Lucas was like, look, here's our mantra for this movie. One take. Like everything is one take. Maximize our profits. It's just.
Well, and that's like, it's funny because Clint Eastwood, as a director, pretty famously does like one take and we're moving on.
But he knows how to get it out of people.
Well, so that's the difference. I'm like, yeah, so the people come ready for like, this is my shot. And he's like, even if they ask, like, hey, can I go again? He's like, no, we got it. We're good.
Dude, it's so funny. Anyway, that's my media rant for the day. Now we can go into, now that I've critiqued someone's professional career, let's critique someone's parenting.
Well, before we do that, let's critique this.
The show?
No.
Let's not.
Dude, doesn't he just look like a turtle?
Wait,
with a beard?
Who? Are you about to show us something?
Yeah.
You can't see.
Like you feed that guy a piece of lettuce and you just kind of picture like,
Yeah.
We probably just lost some loyal listeners. We've been beaten down on Star Wars and mocking George Lucas.
I mean, I do believe I still love Star Wars. I even like 7, 8, and 9.
Me too. And I like. Have you watched any of the series they've done?
I watched season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Everybody keeps telling me I should watch that. I've seen I didn't watch 4, 5, and 6. I don't even think I saw them as a kid. And then in high school, like I had a bunch of friends that were way into it, so we went and saw 1.
Yeah.
And they were all like, "Dude, what the
Yeah.
And but so I've watched it since, and I think it's just more a product of like if you saw it when it came out, it would have been mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
But you see it now, and it's like, wait, why did we skip to that scene? Like it's just like, burp, burp. Like all old movies where it just jumps. Yeah,
and hilariously, like he's gone back. The versions that we saw as kids, you can't see anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He went back once the technology caught up. Even before the technology really caught up, he went back and added in scenes,
which people were pissed at.
Which he had filmed them.
Yeah,
like
he just couldn't.
He just didn't have the technology to put in people like Jabba the Hutt, and so like once he got the technology, he's like, "Well, I want these back in." But so now the version I grew up on as a kid, I can't.
Yeah,
like you can't see it anymore.
But I also think that, like, I will say, Mandalorian I watched and I got bored of. Like, we made it through season 1 and part of season 2, but it's like it's kind of a slow moving, boring.
It is.
But the one that everyone says
100%
to watch,
a Western,
that people say is really good is
Andor.
Everyone's like, dude, even if like not as a Star Wars show, that's just a good like spy thriller.
Yeah, it's a spin-off of Rogue One.
Yeah.
The
so
character
people say it's really good.
The main guy, Diego Luna, who's the main guy in Rogue One. It's like his story.
But
I watched that's the thing. Like I think I watched all of season 2, I think, of The Mandalorian. I really like Westerns, and it is just a Western. Like it's a Western in space.
But I feel like
its pacing is very like a 1960s, 1970s Western. It's not fast paced. Like it is very slow.
Yeah.
And it is kind of boring, but like I happen to like 60s and 70s Westerns. And so I'm like, no, this is just like, it's a good Western to me. I tried watching, because I really like Ewan McGregor. And so I tried watching
Obi-Wan
Kenobi or whatever. Yeah, Obi-Wan. And I got super irritated by the kid who was playing child Leia, and I was just like, nope, I'm out. Like, I can't do it. It's just mind-numbingly frustrating.
I also feel like, look, there are lots of things in my life where I drink the Kool-Aid. Like I'm drinking it and doing a Gatorade bath in it. But Star Wars is one where I'm like, no, I'll sip the Kool-Aid, man. I just need enough to hydrate. I don't need to dive deep into all the sub-stories. And it's like, it's cool, man. Just enough to keep me going for the game. I'm not preaching the gospel of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But again, any spaceman wants to come on the show and challenge me. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Now, parenting.
That's the part where however far we are in 15 minutes, it's like, skip ahead.
There you go, Rob. And let me give you a title. So I gave you a new title.
What?
Oh, Star Wars hater.
Oh,
nobody sees those titles but us. But
wait, they don't see them?
No, Matt and I would not leave our titles if people actually saw them. Dude, no wonder Mike's over there being the professional and just puts his name.
Mike. No, that's just because I'm lazy and I never think to change it.
No, those are just for us to see so that we know who's who, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to forget.
Good job, buddy. I think I've told you when AI tries to generate things for me at the end where it's like, how about this as a resource? It always puts my name there as like someone's Twitter page. Then I'm like, no, not including that. AI doesn't write our summaries, guys, but they do make the bullet points for me. But I write the summaries. Come on. You don't even read them, spacemen. Get off my back. All right. Spacemen, all 17 of you out there, 10 if we're correct. 10 active spacemen.
10 active listeners. No, what? Engaged listeners. 10 engaged listeners.
Spacemen. This is a little bit like in season 2 of Arrested Development, season 3, where Ron Howard starts basically in the show saying, tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I'm just gonna be real direct. The ManSpace is dying on the vine. If you guys want this to continue, you better tell all your friends. You better drink all the Kool-Aid.
At some point, we'll have to explain why we say it's dying on the vine.
Let's say it's dying on the vine because it's morphing.
That's true.
It's not like our listenership has suddenly dropped off.
No, it hasn't.
It's not like we have like 1,000 listeners and suddenly we have 10.
I know. We've always only had 10.
Yeah. Like it's probably the same 10. Now, admittedly, I think some of our family used to listen to it a little more, and I don't think they do anymore.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Well, no, but meaning like I think there are anyway. My point.
I don't think it's dropped, but it's maintained. Yeah. And sometimes we have some pretty high numbers, but that's because one person gets on and downloads everything.
Lisa was saying she was listening to one where you and Mike were talking about if your wives listen.
Yeah.
Jenner does. She hasn't listened in a long time.
Becky will periodically. She'll go in and like catch up, and then.
So for some reason, I thought because that's kind of what she took that Becky does and Jenner doesn't, and I thought it was the other way around.
No, Becky does.
Jenner used to never miss, but now that she works for family services, she does not have she used to just listen while she worked, and now that she works for family services, she can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she'll if there's an episode in particular that I come home, she'll kind of throw it out.
No, I thought you said Becky stopped a long time ago or something.
Yeah, I thought Becky had stopped too.
She used to listen regularly, and then she just goes and catches up periodically, and she'll come in and say, hey, this episode was really good. And I'll be like, oh, thanks. Was it something Matt said?
Probably.
All right.
No, the last comment I remember you saying was she hated our old thing at the end. We were like, rate and review.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
I totally forgot about that thing.
I should go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
So before you
actually do anything, this one's going to have like a 5-minute topic.
Yeah, it's going to be real short.
Hilarious.
Matt has changed the name that we can see to Master of the Universe.
Oh.
Have you guys seen the trailer for this new?
Yes, and I will be there.
Yeah, I'm totally going to go see it.
Can we? When's it coming out?
This summer.
In the summer. So here's my summer watch list. That
obviously the
Odyssey, and I keep forgetting this.
Well,
the Disclosure Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that Spielberg.
But Spacemen, do yourselves a favor. If you're gonna watch that in theaters, go watch The Day of Disclosure, the documentary, before you go.
Wait, is that?
No.
Is this
that's
like
the one
his
I was telling you guys
fictionalized
about.
version of the documentary?
Isn't it? That's when we watched.
I watched it, but it was when you had to pay like $20 to watch.
Yeah, then me and Becky rented it and watched it.
Oh, I haven't rented it yet.
We never freaking talked about it.
That's because Mike didn't do it.
Aliens afterwards.
Yes, we did. We did our Alien episode.
Well, yeah, because I had watched it.
Oh, yeah, we watched it.
Okay, yeah.
It was very interesting, and I love the dude that was like, hey, man, get a bigger shirt.
Luis Elizondo
was the main guy. I was like, dude, that you don't need to wear a shirt that
He's
tight.
Always super tight. Keeps it tight.
Keeping it tight in the wrong way.
What was the... Dang it. There was... No, I can't remember now.
That was awesome. It was like a... I saw some comedian talking about how he has a stutter. He's like, I went home to tell my wife, and he's like, I really struggle with ST words. And he's like, I was trying to tell her that I was stressed. And he's like, but I got kind of stuck. And I was like, I was very and he's like, I look over, my wife's like, she's doing this like perfect dance to his
All right, parenting. Mike, tell your story.
A version of your story.
Well, so
this is a story we can all. This has happened 8 million times, we could all identify with this, I think.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the short version of the story is like an incident happened and there's some disagreement on the parenting skills of the parents of this kid, right?
Kid's being a turd.
Yep.
And the parents are parenting him however they parent him. Mm-hmm. And somebody else says,
"Is your parenting wrong?" And
you
so my friend basically said, "Hey, can I tell them that you're parenting wrong?" and
I say, please.
And then give them my card because they'll have a lot of things to deal with after.
I know a guy.
And I laughed and told him no, that he couldn't. But as I was thinking about this, once we decided this is what we were going to talk about today, I wanted to ask the question, like, do you guys actually think there is a right or wrong way to parent?
Yes.
Me too.
All right, what do you
let me clarify. I think there are some right things to do.
I think there's
and some definite don't do these things.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could all, like, from classes we've taken, right? There's certain parenting styles, we'll say, not like specific methods and techniques and things like that, but kind of like the overall feel of your parenting that doesn't work well and like leaves your kids with poor outcomes. So I think you can definitely say there are things that are harmful, but there's probably a wide range in general of things that are helpful.
Well, it's kind of funny because even as we both say there's some things that are harmful or things that it's like, yeah, although that would be debated. There's some things that we could say this, like punching your kid in the face.
That's what I'm saying. Like
blanketly, everyone's going to say it's harmful.
Or like being so neglectful that your kid is like,
yeah,
totally.
But there's some things that I would say this is harmful, and I believe I'm right, and a lot of people would disagree with me.
Right, but I guess
that goes back to Mike's story.
We could probably agree that there's I mean, the law agrees with us on some things that are harmful.
Yeah,
right. Like I think obviously there's some obvious unhelpful things.
Yeah, but I also think there's things that the law allows that I would classify as harmful, and yet from a legal standpoint,
you're fine.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if some parent tells me this is what I do with my kid, I'm like, I think it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had someone ask me once, they're like, look, scale of 0 to 10. Like if I were to spank this kid, like 0 being like not in trouble at all, 10 being arrested, like how much trouble would I be in?
Parents have asked you that?
Yeah. And I was like, well, you wouldn't be arrested.
Yeah.
There's a zone, a proximal zone.
But I'm like, it's not going to be good. And for clarification, it wasn't someone asking about like if I spank my own child. It was asking if I, spank someone else's child, which I actually used to, like my first few years of teaching in particular, mid to late 2000s. Parents, because I taught 6th graders, so 11 and 12-year-olds, and parents, the number of times were like, hey, if my kid misbehaves, you just go ahead and whack them. And I was like, yeah, I'm not. No, it's cool. Just a quick like smack upside the back of the head, like it's so, or just grab him by the back of the neck. That works too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, no, it's cool. You have my permission. Hey guys, everyone's hearing me. Mr. Porter has my permission to smack my kid. And I'm like, oh, and like they were being playful, right? Like I knew it, but it was also one of those where I'm like, yeah, it's time to let the joke go. Because now I kind of question if you are joking or not. Like, would you be okay if I whacked your kid? Because no, I'd probably get arrested if I whacked him in the head.
Yeah. To clarify your topic, though, are we saying, is it right to tell other people how to parent?
Yeah, so I guess that's my question, right? Like, when you see someone, and I'm actually more curious in the not therapeutic side of this. Like as a therapist,
just as a human.
Yeah, like as a therapist, I'm sure people, right? He got suddenly loud.
Yeah,
I did. Dude,
Yeah.
that's
you got
happened.
real Star Wars. All of a sudden.
That's happened to you guys multiple times. That all of a sudden Matt will get quiet,
You've been quiet like most of this episode,
and now I'm loud.
Like I think you just pulled it real close to your.
Yeah, I think
I didn't. I've been close. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
yeah. See, there you go. It's like that. Like, as a therapist, people ask us questions, and like it's what our training is. So I get that's a different scenario, because even if a client doesn't ask my question, if they're telling me about something in parenting that I think is going to be harmful to their child or harmful to their relationship or whatever, I'm going to call it out, because that's what I'm getting paid for. But like, what do you do just as, you're watching Friends? Or, I mean, I kind of want to stick to friends and acquaintances as opposed to strangers. That's a whole different ballpark there. Well, some people feel like I'm just going to interject no matter what. But like, when is it okay to say, hey, is it ever okay to say, I think you're doing it wrong? And I'm not talking about the obvious, right? Like you said, there are those things that pretty much everyone kind of agrees, no, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. If you're taking that out, that would change my answer. But
so like, if we take that out, because to me, I think
with some exceptions,
that you could make the argument, we just have an obligation, like if the neglect or the abuse, or like if any of that's happening, I think no, at that point we all kind of have an obligation to care for the child, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a different area.
It's a village.
But if you're just watching someone and like it's really not working, is it ever okay to say, hey, yeah, you're doing it wrong? How do you say that if you like, yeah, what do you guys got?
I think it depends. Remind me to come back to this after we're done recording. I just found
stories.
I just found a website called George Lucas's neck size is in inverse proportion to the quality of his films.
Like the bigger it gets, the worse his movies are.
Yeah, it's got a picture of him in the original Star Wars. He looks freaking amazing with an awesome beard, and then it just burns. His film start. Anyway, we'll put that in the show notes. But
oh my gosh.
So
Matt hasn't been paying attention.
No,
so what are we talking about?
www.georgelucas'sneck.com.
I think it can, like, it can be helpful, but I think the times that it would be helpful compared to when it just wouldn't really work, or it would kind of blow up in your face, is probably, like, I don't know how to say the ratio, but basically very few times is it helpful, right?
Yeah,
more very few times with anything. When someone's struggling, is it helpful to be like, hey, let me show you what you're doing wrong, right? Like, but I think that if you can see somebody struggling and you're paying attention and you have something that could be helpful to them and you kind of wait to be invited to help and they're open to it, then yeah, if you have something to share, right? But also, I think you'd have to observe somebody like a lot to really get a full picture of what's actually going on with their parenting. Like, if you just see someone in their worst moment, like the grocery store, and it's like, oh man, and then you draw all sorts of conclusions about how they parent, you're probably way off. Mm-hmm. This is maybe worth mentioning more later, but I have a really good friend who was in my cohort at in my master's program, and he wrote a book. I forget the title now, but it just came out. But it's all about, he's worked with families with kids with really disruptive behavior for a long time, and he just posted a reel where the parenting program that he runs with his practice, he's like, without any like disciplining or intervention on the parents' part, we just use VR biofeedback with the kids, and their behavior improved like 62%. So like, I think that there's like so many things that could be helpful, but that's somebody who's spent a lot of time thinking about it, a lot of time with these families, a lot of time. So in that case, it's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe that would be helpful for me, right? But if you're just seeing somebody being irritated by their kids, like how much of your helping desire comes from a place of your irritation versus like, I think this would genuinely help.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel like those comments are probably unhelpful, because they're usually super judgmental and more aimed at your kid's bugging me, and watching you try and do something about it or not do something about it is bugging me.
About it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that I was going to say it's not really in my nature to go over to somebody and say, hey, you need to parent differently. The exceptions to that would be it's a good close friend that I've seen for a while, and I wouldn't be saying your parenting's off. I would more likely be saying you're parenting from the wrong place. Like, it looks like you're parenting your kids pissed all the time. Like, what's going on? Not to say I don't like your style of parenting, because I recognize, I've said to you guys many times, like, I've learned about myself, I am not a disciplinarian. So if it's like, Rob, what are you going to do about these kids being a turd? I'm like, I'm going to watch them and probably laugh at them. But the other exception is in a setting where it's like, hey, what is going on here is not so much about your parenting, but you're not doing something that's disrupting everybody. And you need to do something about it, because it's not my kid. So go do something about this. So I have had things like and this is as a therapist, but it's the same idea. Is like, your kid's doing something, go do something about it. Like, your kid's disrupting, your kid's damaging that thing over there, you need to go do something about it. And in that context, I'm telling them do something, but I'm not trying to critique their parenting. I'm saying, take care of this.
That right. For whatever reason you've chosen to let it go, now is not the time.
Now's not the time to do that. I understand this may be your style of parenting. That's fine. But these 50 people over here can't do this thing because your kid's doing this, for example. That's the time where, but that's not the same thing as saying you're not being a good parent. That's saying, do something in this moment. I know you may be tired. Because I think, Matt, you're right. Like, context matters a lot. And half the time, the things we see from parents that we want to critique is a parent in their worst moment, at like a breaking point that everybody's had. So like, I can't stand when people are judging parents on airplanes. I'm like, dude, that parent is so freaking stressed out right now. All they need from you is you saying, hey, can I help you with your kid? Like, let me distract your kid. Let me bring some toys or candy.
All I ever want to do is give them a big hug and tell them they're doing just fine.
Yeah, but there's so many people who complain about it. It's like, hey, first of all, what people who complain, I'm like, well, clearly you've never had a kid on a plane.
Yeah.
But also, like, you're seeing, this is really freaking hard for them. And even seeing a parent in a grocery store that's yelling at their kid, it's like, that kid has probably been a turd all day, and he's whining because the mom won't give him a candy bar, and then she's yelling at the kid. And it's like, yeah, don't judge the mom on that. That's like her worst moment. Yeah. So that context matters to know, like, you keep your mouth shut, and probably, if anything, smack the kid in the head when you walk by, and then, high five the mom. Like, you got it.
Yeah. No, I actually, my first exposure to medical family therapy in practice was at,
oh yeah.
If anybody's listening from Lubbock, you guys are the exception for the pronunciation of the neonatal intensive care unit. Everywhere else I've been, it's NICU. In Lubbock, it was the NICU.
Oh, that's true. They did call it the NICU when I was there.
So I'm sorry. Then they'd say the PICU, and I'm like, is it the PICU? Like, what are we saying? So
yeah, they say PICU though. I met a bunch of people who called. I met a bunch who would. I heard both when I was there.
I heard PICU and NICU. But anyway.
I heard PICU and PICU. Some would say it PICU, and then I heard NICU.
Yeah,
but I forgot the NICU thing
in Lubbock. But anyway. So I was in Lubbock, and I was like in the PICU is what I called it. But there was a girl who was like maybe 2.5, maybe 3. She was right around the same age as my middle daughter, who was going through a bunch of medical stuff. So I like instantly kind of felt all sorts of stuff when the therapist who was who I was rounding with was walking me around, showing me what to do. And the mom was like nowhere in sight. This girl had heart surgery and had like a trach and was just like a 2.5-year-old just sitting in a bed with nothing. I mean, she had some toys and stuff, but like nobody to interact with her. And oh my gosh, dude, like I instantly hated the mom for not being there. And like went home that night, I think, because I was contemplating whether I was going to do this. I like sat in the garage and cried for like an hour in my car, and then went inside and was still crying. My wife's like, "What the crap is going on?" So I didn't know if I could do it. And then I was like, then I mainly for this like one patient, I was like, I got to do this. So I went, and I like every time I would go, mom wasn't there, and I'm like just hating the mom. And then finally one time, when I was there, the mom was there. And so I started talking to her, and it's like she lived, I think, like 3 hours away. And she had brought her daughter here because she had this heart condition. And the doctors were basically like, if you don't operate, she'll die. And if we do, there's like a half, like 50% chance she'll live, 50% chance she'll die. And she had other kids like 3 hours away who she was just leaving in the care of family and things like that when she was here. So it was just like this mom who had to make an impossible decision. The surgery didn't really work. So the daughter's like, kind of, I mean, she's okay, but she's like not going to live very long, but who knows how long. So the hospital didn't even know what to do. Like, she should not have been in a pediatric ICU. She should have been in like a long-term care, room. And so like the mom's just trying to manage like being there for her other kids. And when I saw her in the room interacting with this girl, it was like clearly she loved her daughter, right? And then other times I would see her outside just kind of like I don't even know what to do with my life. Like, I can't be here, I can't be there, I feel guilty no matter where I'm at. And so I think like, yeah, that your perspective can dramatically change on something when you know the full story. I think if you, like you said, if your desire is to be helpful, it's probably not going to be you saying, "Hey, you suck," as a parent, right? It's going to be like stepping in and learning more and like doing something proactive, not just standing back and judging.
It is. Jenna and I were talking about this last night and this morning. Just about the benefit of, like, I had an interaction with somebody yesterday, and it just kind of frustrated me. It was a pretty typical interaction for this person. Like, it initially felt like you're not doing enough. And that's irritating. So why don't you do better? Because you're not doing enough. And it's like, okay. And I had to pause, and I spent probably a good 30 minutes just coming up with explanations for why this person would have made the request they made. Which, like, I just kind of sat and, well, maybe it was this. Okay, maybe it's this. Oh, okay. And then I settled on, like, she had 3 different places to get 3 different kids at the same time. Her husband had to be to one of those places. She had 3 kids that would, by default, not old enough to go anywhere, would had to have gone with. And for the pickup at 8:15. Which, given the age of her kids, I think at least one of them is going to be in bed by 8:15, except not tonight. Because, right? And I thought, oh, she's just tired. Like, she's tired, and she doesn't want to disrupt the sleep of her 3 kids because that's going to be all kinds of ugly for her. And so she's just saying, hey, could we try to do something different in the future? That's it. Now, do I know for sure that's what her issue was? No. But did I get to a place where I was suddenly like, okay, well, I can approach this differently now. I can help out. Yeah, I can do that. And I really think it does, like you said, right? Like seeing that mom and figuring out where she actually was made a huge difference in how you saw and probably approached the situation. All right. Because suddenly, instead of, not that you would have tried to replace mom, but suddenly instead of needing to replace mom, instead of trying to be the person who's there because mom's not there, it suddenly becomes, no, I'm supporting mom because she doesn't have enough to give right now. And so I'm just going to step in when mom can't be here and make sure this little kid feels safe and feels whatever.
Yeah.
Because, but that's, I mean, to me, that's a totally different approach than, I can't believe mom's never here. I guess someone has to step up and do it. And so I think just taking a few minutes to reframe a situation, which I remind clients all the time, reframing is not about letting the other person off the hook. It's about creating space for you to work. Like suddenly me having to, add an extra 10 minutes onto my night last night and to do something I really would rather not have done was way less of a big deal, because I had found this space where, whether it was right or not, like, okay, cool. Like, I found a space where I was happy to step in and help. And it doesn't really matter to me. Like, for all I know, right? We've all met those parents who are just like, no, I just don't want to do it. And I think maybe she's one of those. It's not my concern. Like, I had a chance to help out, so I helped. And I think when we can pause and really try to think about, like, well, what could be going on for this person that's causing them to react this way? Like you said with the, your example of the lady in the grocery store. Yeah, that kid's probably been a turd since he got home from school, and mom probably said no to a candy or a treat. And he, I mean, honestly,
she's trying to get through the grocery store while he's screaming and dragging his feet.
Yep. And he's probably learned, there was probably one time, which for kids of a certain age is all it takes, when mom caved and let him have the treat. And so he is not going to back down. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And mom is just trying to get to the other end of the store and get out without losing her crap all over the kid and not caving and giving him the treat. And like, you just happen to be witness to it. It's if you pause and just kind of create scenarios where you can understand. I mean, luckily, at least for me, a lot of times when I pause, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been on those shopping trips.
Yeah. I've been the crap
super
parent.
Embarrassing, super like, I would have given anything to have someone just say, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I was thinking there have been times where I've said to somebody like, kids, right? Like kind of trying to be like in a subtle way, like, and I've gotten not good responses back from the parent. Like, mind your business. It's like, yep. Which I'm like, I mean, I get it. I mean, you don't want somebody who feels like I'm being like, your kid's a brat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm like, kids, am I right? Well, riddle me this. Is there a tri-tip in this or just a pro tip? I think it's just a pro tip.
Let's just keep our pro tips to 1 to 2 sentences.
Okay.
I said, what have you got?
The one I think
got something.
Yeah, go for. I think we all have the same one. Go for it. 1 to 2 sentences.
I know. Judgment never produces that which is helpful.
Oh,
so just step up and help.
That was 2.
2 sentences. That's what I said. 1 to 2 sentences.
All right, I was just checking you. Make sure you can go further. Mine is keep your mouth shut because context matters. I was considering a different one, but go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. Mine feels like a combination of the two of yours. Take a breath and put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, I feel like we all go to the same idea. And that's like a tri-tip light.
And one more very quick story, just to pull it all together.
We're become a fork again. Go ahead.
This is, I can't remember what Stephen Covey book this is from, but he talks about being on a train in New York on his way home from work, and there's two kids, I think, that are just like freaking out and like bugging everybody on the train, and the dad's just staring down at the ground and not even paying attention to him. And so Stephen Covey like addresses the dad, like we're saying, and says like, hey, you need to get control of your kids. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, we just came from the hospital and their mom just died of cancer. And he's like, ugh, so I think sometimes, like you said, just pay attention and think of like at least 3 other options why you're seeing what you're seeing, instead of just the one that is judgmental in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it, spacemen. Again, we've solved the world's problems. Spread the word. Come back next time and catch up. Dang it.
Catch up
on the ManSpace. Niku.